Hello everyone. I'm here to share one of the new punch boards by We Are Memory Keepers. This is the gift bag punch board, and I gotta tell you, it's another goodie, just as good, I would say just as useful and practical as the envelope punch board. Some of you may have been a little bit, I wouldn't say concerned, but a little bit turned off perhaps about the size of the bag. There's a small, a medium, and a large width that is a standard width bag. This is the small width. You can make it as long as your 12-inch paper will allow you to, which is about 10.5 inches. All right, and so this is about 2 3/4 inches. This is what the widest bag, the large bag is. And again, this wide, and you can make it however tall you want. So this is just a little bit limiting for me. And I know for lots of you out there that are crafters. So, of course, I had to figure out a way to make larger bags using the punch board and this wonderful detail that this punch board comes with, which is the ability for you to make the gussets. And that is what's it's a great selling point for me. So again, this is how wide the large bag is, and that is roughly 3 3/4 inches. You can make it once again as tall as you want to using a 12-inch piece of paper, and the small one is 2 3/4 inches. The medium one, I'm not so sure. But let me show you how you can make a bag this size. Do you recognize the size? And I did some playing around here, so just ignore that. Do you recognize the size of this bag? This is the size of the ever so popular Michaels bag. All right, and this is the same bag without me taping the bottom portion of it, which right here gives you endless possibilities. But the wonderful, again, feature about this is that you can make a gusseted bag using your pattern paper, and I love that. It cuts down on work, well, expense, obviously, one-time investment. We have tons of paper, and it cuts down on matting. If you make them out of pattern paper, here is a traditional Michaels bag. We typically mat this, cut this out. I could have got a paper cut there. Cut this off, and then mat. So let me show you the differences here. You see the bottom of the bag right here. This one is a little wider, okay, and this I'm sure it can be changed, but I'm okay with not having this wide bottom of the bag, which is 2 7/8 inches. On the tool, you get a 2-inch gusset, so you lose a 7/8 inch, which I'm okay with because you never get that whole pocket there. I'm totally okay with this bottom, with the bottom of the bag. The gusset here is 1 inch. The gusset here, I believe, is, let's see, it's 1.5 inches, and the gusset here is 1 inch, just like I stated. Now, for a 12, but the width is exactly the same. All right, so that's what I was going for here. Now, if you notice, this bag is my bag, the We Are Memory Keepers bag, is a little bit shorter. But this is because I wanted to make one bag at a one sheet of 12 by 12. If you want to get it to the exact same length of the Michaels bag, which is about 8 7/8 inches, then you would have to use 2 sheets of pattern paper. All right. So, and you'll only use a teeny tiny bit of the other pattern paper. So I can live with this length and then make my photo mats out to, the size to compensate for the shortage. So I can make my photo mats at 9 inches, and it's all good. So if you want to use the one bag, it will be a little bit shorter. All right. So let me stop talking and let me show you how to do it. So let me first show you how to make a regular bag using the punch board. Okay, the way the punch board was intended to be used. Let me grab a piece of cardstock. So to make the large bag, you need a 12-inch piece of paper to make the large bag, which will give you this width right here. If you want to make the small bag, it gives you directions right on the board and tells you what size you need to cut the paper to. For a small bag, you need to cut to 10 inches. For a medium bag, 11. For the large, 12. Okay? The steps are on this board, which are great. All right, but what you need to do is cut your paper to size. So I'm going to make a short bag. This is going to give me this size bag, which is 4 3/4 inches. What you want to do is start at the start line. You're going to insert your cardstock, okay? At the start line, you are going to punch, okay? Then what you're going to do is take your nifty little scoring tool, and it gives you prompts here, horizontal. So you're going to score on your horizontal score line, and now you pick, well, actually, you're supposed to pick the size of your bag, but I already knew that it was a large, so you score on the large, and then you do your horizontal score line, okay? Then what you do is, now there's a second step. So this is step 1. You punch, you select the size of your bag, and you do the horizontal score line. The second step would be is to move the score line you just created over to the starts, once again, so you're starting all over again, and you punch. Okay, then you do your horizontal score line, and then here what you do is you create your gusset. You score around the triangle, you score right here in the center, and all of this is indicated on the board. And then you make your second score line, which completes your gusset. All right, and I think you can see that. Let's see. Yep, you can. Wonderful. Okay, so that's where I was. I created my triangle or my gusset, and then I scored on my sideline. Now what you want to do is, again, go back to start and repeat the same process. The first step was to punch. Select the size of your bag, which is large, and then your horizontal score line. Now you're going to repeat the gusset process. Go back to the start line. You're going to punch. You're going to make your gussets. Follow through with the score lines. Ta-da! And last one. Go back to start, and you're going to repeat the same process, but you ran out of paper. But you do want to punch. And this is what you're left with. All right, so you have your gusset, your front, and the back of the bag, or whichever way you want to do it. So what you want to do is, I recommend you fold on your score lines. That makes everything a lot easier to get a really nice crease on your bag. Of course, burnish or fold or just reinforce the score line, however you guys like to call it. I even go as far as doing this, just reinforcing that score line. It'll be a lot easier for the bag to fold. Now, if you notice, you have a little flap here, right? So you can fold on that flap and burnish, right? Typically, we would want to put adhesive on a flap. I say don't do that. I say put your adhesive on the cut edge, because when you typically put an adhesive on a flap, you want to center that adhesive. And what's going to happen is when you assemble your bag, this is going to kind of, be flying in the wind there. There's going to be no adhesive there. So if you apply your adhesive to the non-flap side, to the cut edge, really close to the edge, that'll give you a wonderful stick from edge to edge, and you don't have to worry about this kind of coming apart. All right? So that's all you have to do there. So before you stick anything down, this here is useless. You do not need it. So what you want to do is cut that little tail off. Okay? You can cut it at an angle if you want. You can cut it straight. Whatever you want to do is okay. And then assemble your bag. So let's remove the adhesive. Nice, square everything off, nice and pretty. And you've got yourself a bag. All right, see that? So what you want to do is apply adhesive to the flaps to assemble the bottom. So I do the first 3 like so. Okay, and then we want to go ahead and square this off. But one thing that I noticed is that if you do not score to do this right here, see this right here, you get a wonky bag. See how crooked this is right here? So if your intention is to fold these bags the way I've done here, I highly recommend before you assemble this bag to score at, let me grab my scoreboard, at 2.5 inches. All right, at 2.5 inches. And that's just if you're going to fold the bag. If you're using it as a gift bag or a treat bag, you don't have to. But how cool would it be to give a gift bag set? I mean, that would be adorable. A gift bag set with tags, just super duper sweet. So you want to go ahead and fold those. Now, when you're folding your bag, if you do not fold it nice and squared off, all right, where, you don't fold it all wonky, you're golden. If you fold it a little wonky, you're going to have a wonky bag, okay? So what you want to do is, let's go ahead and fold on our score lines, just prep everything. Let's just, might as well go ahead and remove this tape backing while we're at it. So what you want to do is kind of square everything off. So I'm going to just open that up so I can work easier. Right there, and right there, and whoopsie, one side, and like this. And hopefully I did mine right. Now stick your hand in there and burnish to ensure a good stick. And you got yourself a bag, people. There is your bag. Now with this score line here, it just makes it so much easier to fold everything. And I just kind of fold back and forth, just very gently until everything falls into place. And then go just mash it down and burnish. Okay. So this is the large bag. Once again, your height can change to 10 inches. You can make a nice wine bottle bag if you want to with this. It would be perfect. And this is the traditional way of making bags on this punch tool. If you want to make larger bags, I'm going to give you measurements specifically for the Michaels Celebrated bag, okay? So super cute, right? Adorable. So to make the large bag or the Michael size bag, you want to start off with 2 pieces of cardstock. One that measures 9.5 inches by 12 and 9.5 inches by 2.5 inches. You can use 1 sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock, pattern paper, whatever you want to create one bag. So the first thing you want to do is score on your scoring board, and you want to score at 4 5/8 of an inch. All right, 4 5/8 of an inch, and then 11 3/8 of an inch. Okay, 11 3/8 of an inch. That is it. Now you want to play with your bag punch board. So to get this, you're pretty much going to work with the manufacturer's directions here, but I kind of I omit a step, okay? And I will tell you what that is. So you want to start the way you would typically start making a bag. It's really important that you line everything up with the start line, okay? And I'm just going to shift this every time I punch so it can be nice close to me. Okay? So you're going to punch, and you're going to create your horizontal score line. We would typically pick the size of our bag, but we're not. We've already determined the size of our bag with the score lines that we made previously. So what I want you to do for the first time, you're going to punch, and you're going to slide your paper all the way and score on the horizontal score line. That's going to be the first thing you're going to do. Okay, so do that. Do the horizontal score line all the way to the end. Okay, great. So now we're back to the start line. We've already punched. Now we're going to just mosey on down to the score line we've already created. Line it up with your start indicator right there. Now let me bring this closer to me so I can punch. Perfect. Now you're going to make your gusset. So just like the manufacturer's instructions, make your gusset, follow through. Now you're going to be a little short on your score line right there, which kind of sucks for me. Hopefully they'll have an extender or something like that would be great. And then your score line right here. So be careful that you're going to fall off the paper. Then you're going to mosey on down at the start line and again punch. Okay, and then you're going to repeat the same process. Mosey on down to your score line and punch. Wonderful. Now remove your piece. Let's go ahead and cut our tail off. We don't need that tail. Now, I recommend, I don't like sloppy score lines, so I'm probably going to either do this here and follow through with my score line. You know what I mean? Because I really don't like a sloppy score line. So you can fold it, but doesn't always work out according to plan. Alright, so I'm just going to take my time here and do that. And I got them all. Got these happy. So that's ready to go. Now for the second piece, you examine this, you're going to notice you have a front and a back cover and one gusset. So guess what the second piece is going to be, right? Your second gusset. So let's move this to the side and let's work with our second piece. So what you're going to do is create a gusset. Insert your piece, line it up with the start line. You're going to punch. Right here, I'm lining it up really well. Because if you don't, you're going to get a wonky bag. Then, again, make your gusset. And go ahead and reinforce those score marks. You can do it 2 times, 1 time. And then your side score line, which finishes up your gusset. Then mosey on down and punch. And you are done. You're done. So we've got another tail here. We're going to get rid of that tail. I'm going to follow through on my score lines because, you know, can't help myself. And do that. And maybe that one's a little bit off, but I can live with that. That one's a little bit off too, but that looks good. Hopefully I got those right. I don't think so. I'm a little bit off, so I may have a wonky bag. Not good. Maybe not. So fold on your score lines. Okay, reinforce those score marks. And now we're going to apply some tape. Oh, you know what I forgot to do here? My horizontal score line. You have to do the horizontal score line, guys, regardless. Okay, whether it's the big one or, you know, the big piece or the little piece. Because that's where your piece falls. Okay? Forgot that one. Now, you want to go ahead and apply your tape. But before you do that, to make sure you get the tape on the right side, you want to kind of put your puzzle piece together here. So this side, you have a flap, right? So you can't have a flap to a flap. You have to have a straight side to flap. So let's flip this piece over. Right here, we've got a straight side to flap, straight side to flap. Okay? And that's what makes everything perfect. So you want to go ahead and fold on this score line, creating a flap. And now let's apply our tape. So again, tape to the straight side, please, like so, and tape to the straight side, like so. And now let's assemble. So I'm going to assemble my flap first and then that. Okay? And you know what? You can't fold your flap. Never mind. Kathy was inventing. Don't listen to me. So you want to attach your flap to the bag. And you want to definitely attach this flap first, okay? Please, 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 please. And then this side. And that's it. I got a little bit of too much tape there. So I'm going to cut it off. Careful if you do this, guys. You don't want to cut into your bag. I'm just kind of scoring the tape so when I peel it off, it all comes off. Now go ahead and burnish. Hopefully you glued everything on straight. I'm a little wonky there, but I can live with that. And now assemble your bag, or fold on your score lines to create your bag. Okay? You can glue the flap to the inside, all right? But I glued it to the outside for whatever reason. So you don't have that there, you can glue it to the inside, okay? And there's your bag. Now you want to score at that 2.5-inch mark, just to give you a nice fold so you don't have a wonky bag. Okay? So 2.5 inches and 2.5 inches. And now you want to assemble your bag. Just like we did before, we want tape on one long side and two short, or not one long flap and two short flaps. Alrighty. And now let's assemble. I'm just going to kind of make mine straight again, because I don't want a wonky bag. And fold. And fold. Now let's remove the tape backing from all three sides. And you're good to go. Let's see. What did I do before? Okay, right here. Clearly I'm not very good with puzzles. So straighten everything out. Make sure it's nice and squared off, nice and straight. Alright. And stick it down. Put your hand on the inside. I think mine is a little crooked. Ugh. But it's okay. I'll live. Make sure you get a good stick. Now form your bag. And kind of just press down. And it'll do what it's supposed to do, guys, okay? And just, you're going to get a little resistance, but just flatten it down, okay? And just reinforce those score lines. Okay. Go back to the other side. Open your bag again. And then do the other side. That one's giving me a problem, but I will tell you this. If you use a heavy cardstock and then you mat over it, you're going to get a thick, thick bag. So you want to use a lighter weight cardstock or pattern paper, okay? And a pattern paper that's not going to crack. Like, don't use, and I hate saying this because I love die cuts with a view, but if you use like a die cuts with a view paper, it will crack. If you use a heavy, heavy paper, it will crack. So use something that's not going to crack. Excuse me. And then you mat over it if you want, you know, a paper that does crack and you want to use it. All right, but that's it. And guys, using this method, you can make bags up to 11 inches wide. All right, 11 inches wide by the length of your 12-inch paper. Hold on one second. Excuse me. And how fun is this to be able to make these bags, gift bag sets. Halloween is coming up. You can make the smaller bags and make your own little treat bags. I mean, this is a very good excuse to use all of that paper you have in your stash. So I absolutely love it. And don't forget, you want to glue this to the inside, just like I did here. I don't know what compelled me to glue it to the outside, but a wonderful tool that We Are Memory Keepers gift bag punch board. Love, love, love. A wonderful, wonderful product. This is Kathy with Paper Phenomenon, and until next time.